Yeah, remind me not to go to the Congo either. Remember, if you have questions that you want to ask that are a little more in-depth, then we will have a viewer Q&A at the end of our regular questions. Because I definitely have at least one personal question. But, I'm reopening the game when I need to be opening Skype. Let's see here.
Congo on the mind.
Let me get over here. And I'm going to turn off my fabulous music. Boop. Off. Let's give him a call. And remember, it is exclamation Congo. Get in on the contest, the raffle for a copy of the game. You've got an hour left. So, exclamation Congo doesn't need to be capitalized. So, let's give Jack a call. Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing? Long time no talk to.
How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. This game is so good. It's like, it really is very claustrophobic feeling, which is something I really enjoy from horror games, and I love horror games.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we wanted to portray when we were making it. Something really dark and enclosing.
It definitely is. And the lighting is awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, using Unreal Engine was... You couldn't really choose another engine if you wanted great lighting. So when it came out, we were like, yeah, definitely got to use Unreal Engine for a game all about lighting.
Yeah, it looks great. And as everybody could see, the AI is spectacular with those enemies. I mean... You just watched him get taken out when I had my back turned to him, and I turn the second I go to reload, it's a done deal. They're on me, so it's awesome.
Yeah, Tom, the one of the other developers, who is the guy who did all the AI. He'll be very happy to hear that.
It's great. I did not expect that type of AI. I figured it would be good. I didn't expect it to be that good. And it's early on in the development, really, and it's awesome. He did a great job.
Thank you. It was, we definitely tried to make it as sort of realistic to like animal behavior, but also at the same time make it a fun game. And we really wanted that kind of tricky behavior where if you're reloading, they're going to come at you if you've got your back turned. And it's actually quite a fun experience because we were making this AI and we had this basic premise of making it realistic like animals and pack behavior.
Right.
But actually it tricks us. To this day, it still tricks us, and we still find it doing really interesting things and sometimes really clever behavior, which has just come from this system that was built. And we feel that that's definitely adds to the atmosphere of the game.
Oh, it does. It definitely does. So let's do some background questions. What is your role on the team?
So I am the artist on the team. There's 3 of us making this game. There's me, I do all the art, animation, all the HUD, design and graphic design, all that kind of stuff. And then there's Tom and Jason, and they do the programming. Literally everything else.
Nice. Now, what age did you start playing games?
I really can't remember a time in my life where I wasn't playing games.
Oh boy.
I was trying to think about this question, and I just couldn't couldn't work out. So I'm just gonna say forever.
That works. Since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
All right. So then, what was the first game that you remember playing?
So some of the first games that I really remember playing were my dad actually brought home a BBC microcomputer, and there's some really crazy cool games on there like Bone Crusher and Imogen, where you were like sort of a wizard that could turn into a cat and a monkey and all that kind of stuff. They're sort of the first ones I remember playing, but the first one that really sort of changed my life, really, if I'm being honest, was Doom.
Oh yeah, Doom.
Yeah.
So many hours put into that game.
And I was super young at the time, and I remember coming in, my dad on his computer, and he was playing it, and I was just blown away. I was like, "Oh my god, no way!"
Even though the graphics were like pixelated, it was just so like you couldn't stop playing it.
Absolutely.
It was that is thumbs up for that one. That's a good game. Now, how did you get started with developing games?
Well, I was always into like some of the editors for games. Like if a game came with an editor, I was always messing about with it, doing bits and pieces. I think that's where I really kind of got the feeling for it.
Okay.
Then when I was at school, I was about 14. I decided to make a mod for Battlefield Vietnam.
Oh
And,
wow. Okay.
I had no experience really. I had no idea what I was doing. But I went all across the Battlefield forums and started trying to recruit people to make a zombie horde survival game called Killing Floor, which is actually the Killing Floor, which is now available on Steam.
Very cool.
But the guy who actually quite soon I went to university, went to college, and me and the guy who ended up taking Killing Floor to where it is today, Alex Quick, we kind of parted ways, and it's amazing to see Killing Floor like it is now. I mean, just crazy to think that started back in my bedroom.
Yeah.
Talking to Alex over the internet, never met him. Now it's where it is on Steam. It's crazy.
Isn't the internet awesome?
Yeah. And
It's
it was like the golden age of mods.
Yeah, I remember when Battlefield Vietnam was out, and yeah, well, it's still out, but I remember when it was really hyped up. It was like the golden age for mods. It's like there was everything out. Now, if you were a game developer, what would you be?
If I wasn't a game developer, I would. Oh, that's hard. I would love to have a bar. That would be awesome.
Really?
Really cool, dark bar, like some kind of mafia's den that you've walked into, but it's all like really cool drinks. I think.
Do like one of those like themed bars type thing.
But, like, try and be cool, like not tacky.
I mean, I've gone to some themes bar. I went to the old Star Trek bar in Vegas before they closed it down. That was awesome. The drinks actually smoked and were served in like fishbowl. Oh, it was the craziest thing ever. Nice. But themed bars are pretty cool. I'm sure you'd be good at it.
I have a lot of bartending experience in my life, so I think it'd have to be something to do with drink anyway.
Now, why do you make games?
I just can't help it, really. I mean, the guys who, the other developers making Congo, we got together a few years ago, and just ever since, we've just kept on making games non-stop. There hasn't been a moment where we haven't been making something, and I think more than anything, it's just a case of we just love doing it. I mean, I was trying to think of something really philosophical to say,
Philosophical.
but it's more really that we're just addicted to it,
Mm.
and it's so cool to be working together as a team, making stuff, having an idea, and a couple of weeks later it's working, and people are playing it, and people are talking about it, and you know, I'm sitting here watching a 2-hour special on it. It's just unbelievable, and that kind of certainly drives me to keep making it, and I'm sure it drives Tom and Jason as well.
Awesome. Now, how many games have you worked on?
So obviously there's like me personally. There's Killing Floor, but I didn't really do that much to that, so I don't really claim any work on that. We made an iOS game before Congo called The Lawless,
Okay.
which was like a first-person shooter on Android and iOS.
Oh, nice.
But it was basically this like quick-time cinematic experience set in the Old West.
Yeah.
And we wanted to make it really brutal and really, really dark. And we did actually. It was received quite well. It was just incredibly short. It was. We all three of us work full-time jobs.
Right.
In other industries, so we were making games in the evenings, in spare time, weekends. So it's really hard to it was our first full game together as a team of three of us, and the time it took meant we couldn't release with as many levels as we'd like to have.
Gotcha.
But yeah, and then so we did that. The other guys actually made a few other games before. A travel quiz game.
Okay.
A few other ones, and actually we made a game in 3 days.
Really?
In between Congo and the Lawless, which is called Biker Dash, which is just a super simple game where you just dodge cars on the road. That's about as far as it got.
I actually think I've seen someone playing that recently. And I was like, what game is this? Actually, you know what? I know for a fact I saw someone playing it probably maybe about like a week or two ago. And they were like into it. They're like, oh my God. I was like, this game's crazy.
It's pretty fast paced. If it was
yes, it is.
Then I'm very happy.
Yeah, it definitely, because you saying that, I know exactly what it is, and he definitely was playing it. It was awesome.
Nice.
Now, how did the inspiration for the game's concept come about? I'm really interested to hear this, because how did you come up with the Congo concept? Like, where did that come from?
Well, it's a really strange number of things came around which led to Congo.
Okay.
So basically, we'd just finished The Lawless. We're looking for a new game. I always had this idea of a game where it was dark and it was dangerous in the dark and safe in the light. And I like jungle stuff in games in general. I like Far Cry. I like
okay.
Crisis, games like that, and and I just hadn't really seen a game set purely in a jungle like that, and so that came around. I was also currently working on a portfolio piece actually, and it was just like this Congolese militia, and
okay.
Unreal Engine 4 came out, and those things put together, it was actually like, we could make a really cool game out of this. If you were like Congolese militia stuck in the jungle at night, and there's these demon ape creatures in the dark trying to kill you, and came from there really.
Because I was wondering, like, because there's that movie Congo, and I had no idea if it had taken a little bit from that or where the inspiration came from. I wanted to find out how you came up with this concept, because it's like, it's crazy. And like I said, the AI, it's just so, it feels like a really dense jungle. It's very claustrophobic feeling. The lighting's awesome. The AI is awesome. So it's like, it gives you that almost, the pretty much the Lost in the Jungle feel, but you have that pressure on you, that nonstop pressure, that like something's lurking behind you.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, in terms of that kind of stuff, in terms of the way the AI behave and stuff, we took a lot from Left 4 Dead. It's a
Okay.
big inspiration for the AI and that feeling of pressure. In every time you get further, you're almost hitting another level of pressure, because you just worked really hard to get to the next stage, like when you guys were playing, and all of a sudden, the more you play it, the more you risk losing.
Yeah.
And I really love that. I love the tension in it, and that's what we really pushed for. In terms of the film, which you said, I believe it or not, we had actually not heard of the film.
Really?
I know, it's ridiculous. And basically, I was at a barbecue around my house, and one of my friends came up to me and he said, "Oh my God, this sounds exactly like the film." And I couldn't believe it. I was like, "What do you mean the film?"
The film.
The film called Congo. And I was like, "You are joking." And I put it on, and it's basically the same.
I mean, that's why I was like, wasn't sure, because like that movie is, kind of stressful in a sense. But obviously it's not following the same storyline or anything like that, but I wondered if you had seen it and thought, man, that would just, that kind of theme, or that type of happening would be an awesome game to like just throw yourself into it and just be like, oh my God.
Yeah. I think it would have been really interesting, actually, if I had seen that film before, and whether we would have done the same things we did if we had seen it. Because it is very similar, except unfortunately we don't have Tim Curry.
Yeah, that's true.
In this game.
You can get him to do voiceovers or something like that.
Yeah.
Now, what inspires you outside of gaming?
What inspires me personally is I like some of the TV series that's coming around. That inspires me a lot. Breaking Bad, for example. That's very inspirational to me. And for some reason, it's quite hard to see the link between, say, Breaking Bad and Congo. But again, Breaking Bad has that pressure feeling, that constant feeling of pressure going on.
Yeah, it definitely does.
And that's what I love in Breaking Bad, and that's what I love pushing in Congo. So that definitely inspires me. Yeah.
Do you find anything like in nature or anything like that? Like a certain, like you said, you like jungles and things like that. Like, is there certain settings where you could, sit in it, relax, and then just be like, I can really pull this into a game, and I can do this, and I would be able to do, pull this, and this is a good idea for this, just by watching, like, or looking at, like, plants or particular settings?
Yeah, definitely. I think I do enjoy immersing myself in nature. I went on a few canoe trips over the years, and when you're canoeing down the river, and everything is just taken over. There's no roads. You're in the wilderness. You do get a really inspirational feeling. I've always, every time I'm in sort of a situation, or I see a nice rock face, or I see anything, that I'm always thinking, oh, how can I put that into a game? How can I make that rock? And also, I find it quite interesting to think. So you come to a really stunning bit of landscape, and you think, okay, if I was to make this in a game, it looks amazing, but would it be fun, or would it be playable? Um, it's funny, and actually, some of the times the question is no, and so you have to find the balance between a fun, playable level, and a really immersive, realistic, natural setting.
Now, here's a question for you. With the AI for the demons, did you actually watch, like, go to a zoo or anything like that, and watch how they interact, or other animals interact, or anything like that, or did you just have a good feel for what the interaction would be, and then you guys were able to, like, figure it out and program it in?
I think mostly it was we just had a good feel about what we wanted. I think subconsciously there's probably been years and years of seeing nature programs and zoos, and seeing how they react, just feeding in. But we didn't do much research like that, actually. We obviously scoured YouTube for as many kind of pack instinct videos as we could, or at least certainly I did when I was trying to animate them and get the sounds and things like that. So, but yeah, we just had this sort of feel for it, really, inspired from, say, Left 4 Dead and things like that.
It's definitely awesome. Now,
you.
how is the game being received so far, or how do you feel the game's being received so far?
Really well. I mean, it's been very positive. One of the biggest things we have, though, we suffer from, is not many people really know about it. So, and because we're always, we work in other jobs, it's really hard to find the time to really push it. So I think that's our biggest hurdle at the moment, is just getting the word out, and getting people to play it, really.
I'm sure it'll come along. I mean, there's quite a few people watching this. Obviously, we're going to post it on YouTube and everything like that. So, doing things like that, and I'm sure word of mouth is going to travel. I mean, the game's awesome. You can't deny it. So, I'm sure it'll start to build. Have no fear.
Yeah, it's been positive, though. Well, in general, it's been positive, and we get a lot of really nice and useful feedback from our players, which just means a lot to us.
That's always good. Now, how long have you been working on the game?
We started in June last year. We picked up Unreal Engine 4 in April. April, May. Played around a bit, and then in June we started making this game.
Wow, so you've gotten far.
Yeah, it was really good. By the end of the first month, we had it on greenlight.
Wow.
We got greenlit in 10 days, which is really awesome.
That is awesome.
And so we were like, oh, brilliant, it's perfect. And it's about 6 months later, November, beginning of December, we managed to release on early access.
Nice. Now, do you have any examples on what's gone right so far during development? Like, you thought of an idea, you either program it in, sketch it in, whatever, and it just works. It's like, yes, that was perfect.
I think probably the two things are the lights. just having the torch being like a radius light and the flashlight being a direct cone light.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely worked straight away immediately as soon as we put that in, and you were playing around with the characters and you were scanning through the jungle with the light. It just felt awesome straight away. The second thing was probably the AI was a really good thing as well. Although it's been difficult, it still needs lots of work. We're still constantly tweaking, and I don't know whether we'll ever be perfectly happy with it. But it was just amazing to see the monsters react the way that they did.
I mean, you're saying it needs more work, and it's like, listen, if it needs more work, you would know better than me. For what it is, it's like, I really find it impressive how good that AI is. It's like you could have a AAA title, and the AI on the AI on the enemies is just horrifying. And it's like a game that's been in development less than a year, and the AI is so good. It's mind blowing. It really is.
Thank you.
Now
Tom would be very happy with that.
yeah, I mean, it's like I can't. I really, it just blows me away that AI. It's really, really top notch.
Thank you.
It's just, like I said, I was just blown away by it, and anybody who plays the game is going to be like, "Oh my god, this is awesome." Now, what has gone, or do you have any examples of what's gone wrong during development?
Pretty lots more, I would say. We're always playing around with new features and new bits and pieces, and quite a lot of them don't really work, or it's a step too far. We kind of started off. Really, I would say sort of the modes were something that went kind of wrong at first.
Really?
Because originally it was going to be a really super basic, like defense.
Okay.
That was the original mode. It was going to be defend an objective with the lights and everything. And then we got invited to EGX in London with Epic.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had to quickly build a single-player version of the game because we could only exhibit on one computer. So then we came up with this. So we had to sort of give it more of a linear, story-esque objective mode. And so we ended up building a lot of the game towards this objective mode. And then it was quite difficult to... it's quite difficult to balance that, really, and it might be obvious for us to know what to do, but it's not quite so obvious for somebody who hasn't made it. And there's been quite a few different versions of the objective mode floating around. Definitely had some issues with some of the secondary objectives, like earlier on when you were playing and you went up and there was a helicopter pad with the generator. Actually, that area is kind of it just has a lot more stuff in. Yet, pretty much everyone who plays it, we see, kind of takes that as the area where the helicopter comes in the end because of the helicopter pad, which makes total sense. But actually, it doesn't come there at all. And so things like that, we put in quite a few little areas where we wanted people to experience it, but they've kind of experienced it in a different way. So we've been changing it over the last couple of months, changing it around, trying new things, and I feel like we're getting there definitely getting there with the objective mode. And we have a new level coming out, hopefully in the next couple of weeks.
Ooh.
And and I think that has taken on a lot of the lessons that we learned.
Okay. Now, where do you think the gaming industry will be in 5 to 10 years?
Oh,
This is the loaded
big
question
question.
all the time.
um, oh god, I don't know. I think because it's kind of coming. There was the big indie time
Hmm.
the last couple of years. I think it might sort of coming to the sort of it's getting quite old now. This indie world. I'm hoping it stays and becomes like a really solid thing, which it seems to be doing. Which I just really hope that carries on for the next 5-10 years, definitely. Um, don't want that stage where it was getting all super commercial like it was about 10 years ago.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, I can't tell really, but I just hope it's still this. There's this nurturing for indies and these really cool things around, and this really cool community, which has seemed to have formed. Um, yeah,
I don't. I've asked this to quite a few developers, and you know, I think the indie market is going to continue because when you look at it, you like, for instance, Congo. You can easily put it up against a AAA title, and people will be like, "Oh, well, I'm sure that was made by like EA or some big company." It's like there's good ones, and then yes, there's crap. Let's face it. But that's with the AAA titles too. But
yeah,
I think people are more open to the indie scene now. I think it had its introduction. Everybody was like, oh, and now that it's kind of leveled out, people look at indie games like they look at the regular games, and it's like, okay, it's. I'm pretty sure, at least from what I see in talking to other developers, it's a strong market. I think
yeah.
it'll be around for a while.
I really hope so. Really hope so.
I hope so too, because I mean, there's been some good stuff, some real good stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Now, what games did you enjoy playing in 2014?
Um, well, um, I really in 2014 actually, I picked up some of the oldies again. Actually,
Mm.
um, Age of Empires with Age
Oh
of Empires
yeah,
HD came out.
got that one.
Non-stop playing that, which is I what else? It's quite hard actually. Interestingly, since starting to make games, it's hard to find time to play them.
Well, oh yeah, well, I
um,
I understand.
but yeah, um, I really enjoyed Far Cry. Uh, that was really fun. Um, yeah, and sort of get as I say, like I played a lot of Age of Empires.
Well,
That
those are
actually absorbed.
good. So I'm not going to fault you. Those are good. I picked up the Age of Empires HD myself,
Yeah,
so I'm going to have to say, I